What's going on, guys? Jason Maxwell here from JMax Fitness, and today I'm going to talk to you about something that's very dear to my heart: flexible dieting. It is literally the diet to end all diets, and I love it. I absolutely love it. What other diet allows you to go and eat a friggin' chocolate bar, go out and have drinks with friends, and still lose fat and look amazing? It's crazy. And I'm not here to convince you to use flexible dieting. If you're watching this video, you are probably already considering it. And if you're considering it, just freaking try it. It's awesome. But the purpose of this video is to tell you about the execution. How can you make flexible dieting work for you? How do you just do it to get the results? Because, it sounds cool on paper. All I have to do is hit my macros, get enough protein, all that stuff, and then I'm good to go. But then when you actually try it, you actually start to actually feel lost. And I don't want you to feel lost. I want you to feel great about your diet. I want you to succeed. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to make it very, very easy. Now, the concept is simple. All you have to do is track your macros. But when you actually go to track your macros, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. So I'm going to use what I ate yesterday as an example. 2 different meals. So first of all, there's 2 methods of tracking, and essentially it's the old school and the new school method. The new school method is you use technology such as an app like MyFitnessPal, and you can it's free at the App Store. You just download it, and then you can start entering in your calories, and it tracks it for you and tells you how much you've eaten that day. The other option is to go old school and just use a notebook and write down everything you've ate and then do the math. If you're using the old school approach, get with the program, guys. You got to adapt. You got to use that technology because it's going to help you so much, and it's going to make it so much easier. But if you're set in your ways, that's cool too, as long as it's working for you. And then when you actually start tracking, with MyFitnessPal, it's very simple because all you have to do is scan the barcode if it's something that has a barcode. So last night, for example, I ate a whole chocolate bar, green and blacks, milk chocolate, delicious. And all I had to do was scan the barcode and then enter the amount that I ate. So I ate 100 grams. So I scanned the barcode, write in 100 grams, press the button to submit it, and boom, it's done. It's already tracking it for me. 3 seconds flat, super simple, and it fucking worked great. Now, what about if it's something that doesn't have a barcode? Because a lot of healthy foods, they don't have barcodes. How do you measure, chicken breasts? How do you measure steaks? How do you measure potatoes? Well, that's what the whole point of this video is for, the execution. So last night, for example, I had pork loin roast. Delicious. And I had it with a caprese salad without the cheese. Maybe it's boring, but I don't care. It was delicious. I loved it. And here's how I tracked it. First of all, I knew that I bought 1,200 grams of the roast, and that's raw. So I ate a quarter of that, so that's 300 grams. So what I did was I went into MyFitnessPal and I found pork loin, boneless, raw, and then entered in 300 grams, and boom, that's as simple as it had to be. For other people, let's say you don't know the exact weight of it, what you can do is you can measure the portion raw on a scale. The weight scale will give you a pretty accurate number that you can just add into MyFitnessPal. Sometimes you won't be able to weigh it raw. That's fine. Just make sure that when you track it in MyFitnessPal, it says that it's cooked. Because what happens when you cook the food is the water comes out of it and it changes the weight completely. So let's say you're eating something that's been cooked, but so let's say you have cooked food, but you measure it. You measure the weight of it, and then you enter it into MyFitnessPal as raw. That's going to be completely different macros. What's going to happen is it's going to say that you have a lot. Let's say for 100 grams, it's going to say that you have a lot more or a lot less protein than is actually in there because it's been cooked. and it's lost a lot of its water. So that's one thing you should really know. So bottom line, make sure it's cooked or raw. Make sure you enter it in correctly and then weigh it to know the weight. That's it for the meat. Now for the caprese salad, what it was a tomato that was chopped up, and then I chopped up some basil, put that in there, and then put some olive oil on top, and then some salt and pepper. Very simple. Some people might say it's boring. I say it's delicious, and I'll argue with you with that until you try it yourself. But anyway, super simple meal. But what did I do? I didn't track the tomatoes, and I didn't track the basil. Here's the thing. If it's a non-starchy vegetable, you don't need to track it. It just makes things more complicated, because in the end, those vegetables, maybe it'll be like 200 calories of non-starchy vegetables by the end of the day. And what happens is when you digest it, you're going to it's going to take some calories to digest it. So it ends up being, kind of negligible. So you don't need to track it. The things you do need to track, though, are like potatoes and, things like that, which have a lot more starch in it. And then fruits as well, obviously. So non-starchy vegetables, you don't need to track. So that was simple for me. I didn't need to track the tomato at all. I didn't need to track the basil. The only thing I really needed to track was the 1 teaspoon of olive oil that I poured on top of the tomato. Okay? So it's not very complicated at all. So all I had to do was track the meat and then the olive oil, and then later on when I just had to scan the barcode. So that's the execution for tracking your macros. It's not hard at all, but it does feel hard the first week or two because it's new to you. Anything that's new is going to feel a bit difficult until it's a habit. So I want you to track your macros. If you're using flexible dieting, I want you to, first of all, the first 3 days, I just want you to track whatever you're eating. I don't want you to try to hit your macros or anything like that. I just want you to track what you're eating so you get good at actually tracking it in MyFitnessPal or the old school method if you use the old school method, or any other app that you use, I should say that. So just get in the habit of tracking it so you know how to do it and it becomes simple to you. Then you can do a step up and you start hitting your macros. So let's say your macros are 2,000 calories per day and 200 grams of protein. Super simple. My rules for flexible dieting is basically be within 5% of your calories, be within 5% of your protein. The rest of your calories can be fat or carbs. It doesn't matter too much, but the big ones are being within 5% of your calories, being within 5% of your protein. So let's say you're eating 2,000 calories per day. You want to be eating between 1,900 and 2,100 calories per day to be within that 5%. For protein, you want to be if you have 200 grams of protein per day, you want to be within 190 to 210 grams of protein per day. And that's by the end of the day. My next rule is to try to eat quote unquote healthy foods. So that's kind of natural things like, meat, vegetables, grains, anything that grows or runs. That's you want to have within 60 to 80% of your calories should come from those clean foods. And the reason I like that is because if you eat just a whole bunch of shit, like let's say you are eating 2,000 calories per day and it's all coming from chocolate and protein powder, you're probably going to get diarrhea and you're going to feel like shit and you're going to get bloated. So you don't want to do that. So that's why I recommend the healthy food. You'll just feel a lot better. And then the fourth rule is you want to get a minimum of 3 cups of non-starchy vegetables per day. And you don't even need to track that in MyFitnessPal, but you need to make sure that you're getting at least 3 cups of non-starchy vegetables. The reason behind this is it gives you a lot of fiber and as well as some good vitamins and minerals, and it keeps you healthy. A good diet not only makes you look amazing, but it should keep you healthy with ease too. And that's the whole point of the vegetables. So those simple 4 rules, and then all you have to do is track your macros using the method that I just taught you. So Super simple stuff. And that's all I really wanted to talk to you about. So your game plan today is to just today, tomorrow, and the next day, I just want you to practice tracking your calories and macros and just seeing how much you eat. Get in the habit of it. And then every day for the next 2 weeks, I want you to track, but I want you to start implementing, the actual flexible dieting approach. Another cool thing about flexible dieting is it doesn't matter how many meals you eat per day. So let's say you're someone who uses intermittent fasting. Well, you can still use intermittent fasting. It's totally fine. Let's say you eat every 3 hours. You can still eat every 3 hours. It doesn't matter. The whole point is by the end of the day, you're within 5% of your calories, within 5% of your protein. You've gotten 3 cups of vegetables, and 60 to 80% of those calories came from clean bro foods. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to tell you about today. I'm Jason Maxwell from JMax Fitness, and I will see you guys next time.